Immigration lawyer Joseph Patrick Murphy. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, Marty.
Here we go.
Same.
Here we go in Oakmont.
Yes. Yes.
And
I mean, yeah, this feels good now. It's obviously something that will feel good in the short term and cause trouble in the long term.
explain, please. I love this, what you're saying here.
Well, I was watching, believe it or not, an old speech by President Obama talking about immigration probably 10 or 12 years ago. And he's talking about just this attitude, this kind of, well, they're here and they're fitting in, let it be.
Right.
And Obama pointed out that every time you do that, other people get incentivized to do the exact same thing this fellow did, Mr. Flores.
Sure.
The entire world would move to the United States if they could. And the bottom line is we cannot handle that. It doesn't, our economy is a very small country that we have here compared to the amount of people in the world that would move here if they could and if there was no check on that. There's a very interesting TED Talk about gumballs and immigration. I encourage everyone to look at it. It shows you how this isn't a matter of, well, we could take a few more people or there's only a couple of them. Our capacity to absorb immigration is like 1/10,000th of what we would need to do, this kind of laissez-faire immigration. So in the short term, it feels good. We talk about that. He's a good guy. He doesn't break the law.
Works
He's
hard.
working his ass off, all this stuff. Yeah, but so what? The whole world's full of people that want to do that. We've got rules about this. And this guy, was allowed in, but in a certain sense, he circumvented them. He didn't go and apply for a visa and wait for an interview and go through and pass an interview. He just showed up at the border. Again, on a personal level, it's similar to the relationship that people have sometimes with lawyers. They tend to like their lawyer but hate the category. This is the same thing. We like this guy. He's a nice guy, wife and kids, beautiful family. They show the Christmas picture. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Joseph.
Yes.
Throwing down with ICE, the ICE sucks meeting in Oakmont. Does that help them, sir? I just don't like that move. It makes them the bad guys again and again and again. ICE.
Ideally, when a federal agency is going to be doing operations in a neighborhood, a community, there would be some advance notice. DEA does it.
Sure.
ATF does it. They notify the local chief of police. They say, we're coming into your town and we're going to grab such and such guy. Okay. As that becomes a compromised method of communication, for example, where local police departments will then call activists to go to the arrest site and make trouble, ICE is less likely to do that. You're likely to see more of these kind of surprise arrests where nobody knows what's happening. I think you had one on the show a couple months ago where ICE had grabbed a guy in an unmarked van.
Yes.
And the local police chased the van all the way to ICE headquarters,
Yes.
thinking it had been a broad daylight kidnapping.
Yes.
So,
So
the coordination between law enforcement agencies is an important thing to avoid them fighting with each other, to avoid giant shocks to local stability, feelings of safety in the community.
hey, Joseph,
The news reporting on this.
I'm not disparaging Mr. Flores because Mark is one of my brothers, and I'm told this guy's a badass, works his ass off, best employee. But here's where I kind of get weird with this. The narrative is, and it's all over the media, this guy's here legally, has a visa, has a driver's license, has real ID. Okay, but is he here legally, sir? Is he here legally?
All right. So unlike most of these irregular migrants, he does not have the original sin of an illegal entry. They gave him border parole. That's a one way to get into the country, and it was given for humanitarian purposes. So his entry itself was not illegal. That parole is only good for 2 years. It's long expired, and even if they had extended it, it's at the discretion of ICE. ICE gives the parole. ICE can cancel it anytime they want. It's like parole. Like you have a parole officer, they can cancel your parole. Obviously, it's similar, but it's not the same thing. This is not a criminal parole, but that's what it is. This person showed up at our southern border without following the normal procedures. He's naturally subject to law enforcement supervision and, in fact, arrest if they want to. And that's what happened. So, it's hard to get your head around it that he entered legally and then became illegal, but he's similar to a visa overstay. That in the sense that his parole was only for a couple of years. The fact that we let asylum seekers get work permits and social security cards, we do that so we don't have to feed them ourselves. Okay, they're going to be in our country
I see.
waiting for a hearing. They have to be able to maintain themselves. If they can't, then we're not only going to have to allow them in here and allow them to use our asylum system, we're going to have to feed, clothe, and house them for years. So that's why we allowed them to do that, because the idea that you could come to a foreign country and ask for asylum, it's meaningless if you have no way of supporting yourself there. Um, so
Without
that's
getting
why he
into
has those.
a lawyer-client privilege, because you talked to this family, can he
Yep.
can he end up staying here, or will he be deported, sir?
He's got to win his asylum case. Or have some other method of, getting a green card. The most obvious one is the asylum he's filed. Nicaragua, as I've said before, it's gone way totalitarian. Very serious persecution of Christians going on there. That may be what he's upset about. It may be something else. I don't know anything about his asylum
Right.
claim, but that's a pretty obvious one for anybody from Nicaragua. And a couple ladies in here that were thinking about an asylum claim. They were Catholics, other Catholics. I'm a Catholic, and they were talking to me about wanting to make an asylum claim, and they didn't understand that that they're victims of religious persecution. I showed them video footage of me marching down Grant Street in the St. Patrick's Day parade, with, holding me and the guys from Hibernians holding pictures of St. Michael the Archangel and crucifixes. I said, "Could you do that in Nicaragua?" She said, "Absolutely not." She started crying.
Wow.
So it's going on. It's going on. And,
Joseph
that may be
Patrick
what
Murphy,
this
it's
guy's
a hell
got.
of a conversation.
Yes.
But throwing down
Indeed.
against ICE and making him dark, man, doesn't help anyone. In my world, sir. It just doesn't.
I think what they're doing here, I don't think it's it's been sensationalized. What they're trying to do is preempt the 287G cooperation agreement. 287G allows local police to enforce federal law. They get deputized by ICE. They get some training, and those agreements, you constantly see jurisdictions getting into
Yes.
them, and then it gets politically unpopular, and then they're getting back out of them.
Yes.
Most famously and recently, Bucks County was
Yes.
in and out of one. I have on my, I think it's on my TikTok page, Allegheny Immigration. I read out a list of all Pennsylvania agencies that are cooperating with ICE. Mostly sheriff's departments. They're not traditional law enforcement agencies like a regular police department that pulls people over. But there are a couple of them in there, and some pretty big ones that might surprise you. Right around here that are cooperating. And what that means is that they've been trained to detect people that are unlawfully present in the United States and how to process them. So a simple traffic pullover could result in arrest and taken to immigration detention.
Mr. Murphy, my man, thanks, brother. Always spot on. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Marty. See you later.
Hell of a quandary. I see both sides. From what I hear, I love this man. I also understand what Oakmont's doing. I also understand what my man, the lawyer, Joseph, is saying. None of this is easy. From the P.J. Fitzpatrick Home Improvement